When Adelwa Aljasmara Halip noticed his 3-year-old daughter no longer wanted to go to daycare, he thought it was just the phase. At home in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, now he spends his time reading to Putri, trying to comfort her.
Before the raid, we had already started to feel suspicious. It began when my child said things like, "The teacher is mean," and didn't want to go to school. When we asked, that was all she would say. About a week ago, I noticed a physical sign. My child came home cheerful, but her left knee was bruised. When I checked the school's report, there was no mention of it. At the time, I didn't think much of it. I thought it might just be from playing with other children.
Police say Putri was among dozens of children aged between 2 and 6, allegedly abused at the Little Aresha Daycare Center. Authorities arrested 13 carers in late April, triggering national outrage and calls for tighter regulation of Indonesia's growing childcare sector. What Putri's father had thought was reluctance soon appeared to be something worse.
Regarding the trauma, at first we thought it was simply fear, maybe because she wasn't used to going to school yet. Whenever she saw her school bag, or when I dressed her up to take her to school, by the time we reached the gate, she would cry, really intensely. I assumed it was just because she wasn't used to it, and that she would calm down once inside. I even have some videos of her at the school gate, where she becomes quiet, but her eyes clearly show fear. That's what I experienced.
When police raided the daycare, they say what they found shocked investigators. The center has now been sealed off, its walls now covered in graffiti. Apri Sawitri is the child protection head at Yogyakarta's Police Criminal Investigation Unit.
When we carried out the raid at the daycare, we found children in conditions where some babies were swaddled. Some children had their hands tied. Others had their legs tied. And some had both their hands and legs tied. There was also a child whose leg was tied to a door. We also observed that the rooms were very cramped, with many children or babies in each room or classroom.
Reuters wasn't able to contact any of the suspects or their lawyers, and could not independently confirm the reports of abuse. Calls to the daycare went unanswered. But parents like Imedya Diwi Anjani say injuries were often explained away as playground accidents.
Injuries were actually quite frequent while he was at that school. There were scratches, and at one point he had a bump here, even bleeding, like a small tear. The school would say things like, "Oh, he fell while running," or "he hit his head," or "she got hurt by a Lego block while playing." Just simple explanations like that. Also, he once had a bump on his head.
Investigators say the daycare had been operating without the proper licenses, highlighting gaps in oversight. The case has prompted calls for stricter inspections and stronger protections for children. Police say the investigation is ongoing. For Putri, recovery will take time, one quiet moment at home at a time.